Okay, Space Cab. So, as you're hearing this, Colin's about to board a plane for Mexico, and he will be editing this from there. This is my conversation with Kenneth Dudley. He is a private UFO investigator, and he's from Texas, and I'm just gonna get to it because he's gonna say it much better than I can. You're in for a treat. Here's our conversation, my conversation with Kenneth Dudley, better known as Kit.
Hello.
Hello, Kit.
How you doing, Haley?
Doing good. How's the weather there?
It's dropping. That Arctic cold front is starting
Yes.
to get down here, so it's down into like the 50s right now.
Cold.
Down here, windy.
Windy like crazy here too. You can hear it in the back.
Yeah, well, I think you made it some bad weather.
Yeah, I know it's coming down the wire to us. Here's question number 1.
Okay.
Okay. So, and I asked Ted, could you tell us about your experiences in the military with nukes and UFOs?
Okay, first of all, my experience with the nukes and UFO military thing is that as an investigator, I debrief and question military people and ex-military people, NASA people, police officers, Homeland Security people, FBI people, and stuff like that about what they know about the UFO situation. And so my background is questioning government officials. And I wasn't in the military. I'm an independent investigator. I don't represent any group of people. My whole object is to get to the bottom of the UFO situation. And I've been in contact with Senator Rubio, who sits on the Senate Intelligence Committee in Washington. And I think he's second in charge on the Senate Intelligence Committee. And I've been turning over information to him, data, and different things. And he responded to me in an email. And I'll just read the email to you because it kind of give you an idea of what the Senate and Congress is thinking about the UFO situation. And like I said, my area of interest is military intelligence. So I'm interested in the interaction between the military and these unidentified flying objects. We call them UAPs now. In the old days, they used to call them UFOs.
Yep.
So I'm kind of old school, so I'm just going to call them UFOs.
Rocket.
But anyway, this is the responding from Senator Rubio to me, Kenneth Dudley. He said, "Thank you for taking the time to express your thoughts on the unidentified aerial phenomenon, UAP. Understanding your views helps me to better represent Florida in the United States Senate, and I appreciate the opportunity to respond. Dozens of men and women entrusted with the defense of our country have reported encounters with UAPs that we have little to no answers for. These objects flying in our airspace, including over restricted American military installations, is a great concern and something that we remain committed to getting answers to. In some cases, these objects seem to evidence technological advancements unknown to our military officials. Rather than speculate as the source of these objects, I am relying on the facts and investigations by our military and intelligence community, IC officials. Furthermore, my Senate colleagues and I viewed the inability to accurately identify these phenomena entering our airspace as a great vulnerability for U.S. national security. It is important that the U.S. government rid itself of the stigmas attached to UAP and establish a process to report, analyze data, and arrive at answers. In 2007, the United States government established the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, AATIP, which gathers and analyzes information on UAPs reported to the U.S. Department of Defense. The AATIP was disbanded in 2017, and I, along with my colleagues on the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence, grew concerned that this was not a comprehensive process within the federal government. Hang on here. To carry on the duties previously charged with AATIP. And so in August 2020, the Department of Defense established the Unidentified Flying Aerial Phenomenon Task Force. It has also verified a handful of numerous UAP sightings in the past and has declassified videos taken by service members showing unidentified objects flying across the sky. The Annual Intelligence Authorization Act for fiscal year 2021, S3905, signed into law in December 2020, required the Director of National Intelligence, in consultation with the Secretary of Defense and other heads, to submit to Congress an unclassified report on UAP by June 2021. On June 25, 2021, the Office of Director of National Intelligence issued their report on UAPs, representing an important first step in cataloging incidents raised by both military and civilian personnel. Findings in the report did not provide a conclusion for the unexplained objects given in the limited data available, and an inconsistency in past reporting. However, in addition to these challenges, the report highlights the importance of developing relevant processes, policies, and other means for U.S. military and civilian personnel to identify and report instances of encounters with UAPs. Increasing resources for reporting encounters will enhance the IC and DoD's ability to understand the UAP, trace the origins of the objects, and assess the risk to U.S. national security. Most recently, I worked with Senator Christine Gillibrand, Democrat, New York, to successfully include an amendment in the S1605 National Defense Authorization Act of fiscal 2022 that would replace the current unidentified Aerial Phenomenon Task Force with a new office, administered jointly by the Secretary of Defense and the Director of National Intelligence. This bill was signed into law on 27 of December 2021. This provision will significantly improve data sharing between agencies on UAP sightings, help address national security concerns, and report health effects of people that experience in relation to the UAP events. I will continue to work with my Senate colleagues and relevant government agencies to determine the origin of these unexplained objects. It is an honor and privilege to serve you in the United States Senate, as Vice Chairman of the Senate Select Intelligence Committee. I will keep you in my thoughts and in mind, consider these issues, and continue working to ensure America remains a safe and prosperous nation. Sincerely, Senator Marco Rubio.
Well, is that common that Congress would write back so thoroughly?
No, it's not common, but I've been turning over data
Mm-hmm.
to the Senate Intelligence Committee.
Mm-hmm.
I've been talking to these people on the phone. I've been in contact on the internet and even on Facebook. And I've been turning over data, and they understand where I stand on this issue. It's a national security issue, and that's why it's been hidden from the public for 70 years. They didn't think the public could handle any intense, unexplained phenomenon.
What's the number one reason you think that is? Is it fear?
Well,
I
mean, all you got to do is kind of look around you. The world's kind of in disarray already.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now you're going to throw in an alien threat on top of that.
Yeah.
Really, they just want people to just stay calm, and the best way to keep people calm is kind of just get them where they don't think about a whole lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Put them back to sleep.
They don't think about a whole lot. They go to work, they come home, they pay the taxes, they go to church, they do whatever they do, and not worry and stress themselves on some weird thing that they don't understand. People don't handle things very well right now.
No.
As it is. I mean, just look at the Middle East situation right now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hell.
Yes.
And the whole world, look at Ukraine and Russia, the whole world is in turmoil.
It is. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, the government just don't stress the people, don't tell them anything, and they won't worry about it. They won't ask any questions, and, standard operating procedure.
But really, what you do, the data is so important. And actually, if we want to know anything, we have to have data.
Yeah, and that's what Facebook and the internet and Google and all these other things are all about. It's all about a data collection group, collecting data.
What are your thoughts about MUFON and their investigative style?
Well, they've had the big civil war there, and Bigelow Aerospace lost out and broke away from MUFON. MUFON's been reinventing itself, and they've actually gone pro-disclosure. And what I mean by pro-disclosure is that there's a lot of people in MUFON now that just want to get involved and help turn over their evidence, because MUFON has probably more evidence
right.
than probably anybody, but it's buried deep in the dark vaults.
Is it?
MUFON someplace, and you have to get somebody to collect it and present it to the government.
Okay, and that's never been done.
As far as I know, just recently they started helping the government, MUFON.
Okay. Huh. Yeah, that's good.
I mean, they had the government contract since Blue Book to collect the data, but there was always infighting in MUFON. You had the pro-disclosure people. You wanted people that want to do everything scientifically. You had Bigelow Aerospace people in there trying to steal all their data. You had CIA people implanted in the organization that tried to disrupt it. You just had all kinds of players and all kinds of turmoil and all kinds of things going on with MUFON. But recently, I think they're on the bandwagon. I think they're on the pro-disclosure bandwagon.
I think you're right.
And they've got more evidence than anybody does. Now, there's a guy out in Seattle, an old missile silo out there, that has an internet thing called the National Reporting UFO Center.
Yes.
NASA report. And I talked to him, and he got 160,000 UFO reports. And MUFON's got hundreds of thousands of UFO reports. So that between them, they probably got maybe 400,000 UFO reports.
Wow.
And data on each event.
It's a lot. It's a lot to go through. It's massive. It's heavy.
It's massive because you've got all these other people that's doing all this stuff. You know, you've got the old people up in Chicago and their group.
What do they want to do in Chicago?
UFO studies. You got the Center for UFO Studies and all those people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and there's just groups all across. There's NICAP,
right.
The old NICAP group, NICAP.
Okay.
UFO group, you know. There's bunches of them.
Right. So I guess they don't share information per se.
No, they don't share information. They don't know what they've got.
Right.
Basically, what they do is they collect information, but they don't dissect the information.
They don't. So they don't have, I guess they don't have a back pocket scientist to look at everything.
They just don't have the resources.
Right.
And that's why Bigelow jumped in there. Bigelow Aerospace gave him $500,000, and that's why he jumped in there, because he had the resources.
Yeah.
You know, he's a big NASA contractor here in Houston,
mm-hmm.
and he gets big money from NASA, and he's also probably one of the top UFO investigators in the world.
Yes. What is your feeling? Are you pro Bigelow?
I think he's right when he came on 60 Minutes and said that aliens are living right underneath our nose, and no one even knows it.
That was powerful. I thought that was powerful.
I don't know. Did you see that 60
Yes, I did.
Clip?
Yes, I did. I surely did.
You got to remember, he worked for NASA, you know, and he's a big NASA contractor.
Wow. Yeah.
So, but I don't know how it's working out for him. You know, things in the UFO world change just drastically, quickly.
They do.
And there's a lot of things going on right now, and you know, it's coming from all sides, all angles. You know,
bubbling up.
I told some guy the other day. I said the only thing the Democrats and Republicans agree on in Washington is that there's a UFO problem.
That's shocking and amazing.
They all want to know what the hell is going on, and they want to fight about everything else.
In order to be a good reporter, what do you need? Investigative reporter when studying UAPs.
You need to have passion, lots of passion.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, if you want to be good at anything, you got to have lots of passion.
Yeah.
For whatever you're doing.
Certainly. Can you tell us about any of your own personal experiences with?
Well, like I said, October 1973, I was living with my girlfriend in Hollywood Beach, California, which is in Ventura County, north of L.A., and we were on our way back in October 73 to visit relatives in Missouri, where we both were from. And about 3 o'clock in the morning, I had to stop her car right in the middle of Interstate 70 in Utah, going back east, to let a giant flying saucer take off.
No.
And it was blocking the highway.
Come on.
And I was scared to death. We both got out of the car. It's just kind of like almost in the movies.
Oh, my God.
We both got out of the car, and we just stood in the road and looked at it. And I couldn't even say a word. We didn't say a word. We just stared at it. And I was like frozen. I was like petrified. I didn't know what, you know. And it was scary, very scary.
It is very scary. What did it look like?
It's just like a flying saucer, a saucer with a dome on it.
Wow.
You know, you see those flying saucer pictures?
Yeah.
It's like a flying saucer, exactly what it is.
Gosh.
but it was big. It was pretty big.
Pretty big?
It was blocked. Yeah, it was pretty big. It was blocking the road, and it was glowing. Put out this red glow. It was glowing.
Red.
And I was just scared. I didn't, know how you get these feelings that, maybe I should, something, I could better be careful or something. Anyway, that's the way I felt. I just, I didn't want to walk up to it and say, hi, how you doing?
Oh, wow. Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow. Do you remember other people?
That's not the vibes I was getting.
Oh, no. Do you remember other people in other cars or?
No, we were the only car out there at 3 o'clock in the morning. There's a place there when you get on I-70 if you're coming from California, and it says if you don't have a full tank of gas, you better turn around because it's like 150 miles to the next gas station through the mountains of Utah. And you just go up the mountain and down into a valley, and up in the mountain and down into a valley. And I was pressed through one of those valley mountain things. And I was on top of the mountain, and I started to drop off, and some deer jumped in front of me. And I had to lock up my brakes because I was almost hit some deer, and they were hauling ass. And so I started going again, and next thing I know, through my peripheral vision, I saw the saucer coming down the gorge. There was a gorge at the bottom of the mountain, and it was rotating. The saucer was rotating one direction, and the dome was rotating the opposite direction.
Oh, really?
Like it had something to do with maybe the physics of the ship.
Okay,
Opposite directions of the dome and the saucer.
Wow.
But it was glowing, and it was hovering, going across the ground with the birds, and we were going down the mountain, and I said, I just locked it up, going about 70 again. And we got out.
We're losing your voice. We're losing your voice. So
it was blocking the road,
Okay.
And so it took off, went up and became a star and shot away.
Wow.
And we just got back in the car and drove another 5 hours into Denver on I-70.
Gosh.
And I think I turned around to her and said, "Did you see that?" And she said, "Yes." And then we didn't hardly say anything else all the way to Denver. We just kind of sat there almost like in a trance, like stayed all the way into Denver.
Wow. I would imagine. I can't even imagine.
Well, the funny thing is I lost track of her. Lindsay Duff, she's a friend of mine on Facebook all these years later.
Yeah.
My old girlfriend from California, she's a friend of mine on Facebook. And
you ever talk about it? Do you ever talk about it?
Yeah, like when I started my investigation, I wasn't on Facebook, and I didn't know, anything about Lindsay. I had lost track of her, but I got on the internet, and I tracked her down. She was an artist in San Diego. 38 years later.
Gee.
And I called her. She had a phone number because she was an artist. She was trying to sell some paintings or something. And I got her phone number. And I called her, and Lindsay answered the phone. I said, "Lindsay, it's Kit." And she said, "Kit, yeah, Kit." and then the next thing she said, she didn't ask me where I was at, if I was married, if I had any kids or anything. The first thing out of that woman's mouth was, "Do you remember the UFO?"
Yes, really?
38
okay.
years later, that's the first thing she says to me.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
I would have figured she would have said anything but that, but that's the first thing that came out of her mouth after 38 years.
Yep.
Oh, man. So, yeah, she was right there with me.
Gee.
That would be a good show sometime.
Yeah. Can we have the two of you?
And you can ask her questions.
I would love that.
About it.
I would love that.
You can get a couple on there.
That would be amazing. That would be amazing.
Viewpoint.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll get her viewpoint.
What's up with the San Luis Valley?
It's a UFO hotspot, and has been since the days of the Native Americans.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the Native Americans 7 sacred mountains is right there in the San Luis Valley. And I'm not sure which tribe it exactly is, or if it's the whole southwestern tribes, but they have like 7 sacred mountains. And one of them is right there in the San Luis Valley. And there's always been a religious tone to the valley, all the way back from the Native Americans clear up to now.
In the sand.
The Great Sand Dunes National Park is there.
Yes, but that's mysterious sand, isn't it? It's pure silica, and it doesn't make any sense that it would be there.
Oh, it comes out of those mountains right there.
Because they have crystal. Okay, sorry.
Well, they have. I did a little research on that. I went to the National UFO Reporting Center,
mm-hmm.
and I looked up the San Luis Valley because it goes by state. It goes by state and year, and I think there's another thing that you can get to make it come together for you. But apparently, 1 out of every 6 people in about a 6-county area in the San Luis Valley has seen a UFO.
1 in
that
6?
That lives there currently.
1 in 6. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a high percentage.
I'll say.
And then they've got the town there. I forget what the name of the town there is, where all those people live, and they have the monastery on top of the mountain where a bunch of Buddhist monks moved there from the Himalayan mountains and started up a Buddhist thing there on top of the mountain, one of those mountains over there.
Wow.
So there's a lot of religious people
congregated
in the San Luis Valley. And that makes you think of another whole thing. Why are all these religious people hanging out in this valley? What's going on with the valley?
Yeah.
You know?
It's a PowerPoint of some sort.
But it's also a UFO hotspot.
Yeah. Absolutely it is.
And of course, that's where the Buddhist nun was that I tracked down that almost killed me in that car accident.
Right.
In
my
November.
gosh.
Yeah.
Tell that story, kid.
Yeah, well, that's... I really didn't care about UFOs after 1973. I mean, I was a truck driver. I went into the office and became a dispatcher, fleet manager for JB Hunt Transport out of Lowell, Arkansas, that drives the big yellow trucks up and down the road. But so, I mean, I told my parents, a few friends and stuff like that about it, but I didn't think about it that much. But in 2005, I was in this car wreck on the Galveston seawall, and this Buddhist nun ran a red light and almost killed me, totaled my car out, and I had to go to intensive care for a few days and get my kneecap put back together. It was shattered. Then I had to learn to bend the leg again after it came out of the cast, so I was out of it for a couple of years, I'd say. But my lawyer couldn't. I had hired a lawyer, and he couldn't find her, and her insurance company couldn't find her. And
your insurance company couldn't find her.
Right.
Please, nobody.
Yeah, no one could find her.
Okay.
For about 2 years.
While you're learning to bend your knee.
Right. While I was rehabbing, going through operations and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I went into my lawyer's office and got a computer printout that they had of, I guess, every possible known location she'd ever been and phone number that any person that might know her. Took it home and got on the computer and started calling phone numbers in this stack of data. And I got her daughter to answer the phone about 4 hours later on one of the numbers, and said, I'm an old friend from high school, and I'm trying to reach your mother and wonder where she's at. And she said she's in a Buddhist temple on top of a mountain in Crestone, Colorado.
Wow.
And that's the name of the town up there, Crestone.
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 Mm-hmm.
Crestone, Colorado. And that's where all those religious people hang out at in that town. And she was a Buddhist nun and that's why they couldn't find her. I guess they were looking for a Catholic nun.
Oh, okay.
And she left the state, so it took a while to track her down. But no, this UFO thing came up in the process about the San Luis Valley. And I said, I ought to make a UFO report about what I saw in 73 with Lindsay, my old girlfriend. So I made a report to the National UFO Reporting Center and didn't get the results I wanted for it. The guy responded, but I didn't like his response.
No.
So then I hooked up with MUFON, and they assigned me Dean Trolley out of Utah, the Utah state investigator for MUFON. We talked on the phone, and he took a lot of data down, asked a lot of questions. And one day I was talking to him on the phone, and I said, Dean, I'm a truck driver. I've been everywhere. I've never seen anything. What's up with this out in the middle of nowhere here by Green River, Utah? And he said, well, our top United States missile base, the Utah Launch Complex, is about 20 miles as a crow flies from your location, and MUFON thinks that's why the flying saucer was there. It was monitoring our missile base.
Wow. Likely. Do you think?
Yeah. But I didn't get the results I liked from MUFON. So then my next stop was the FBI in Houston, Texas.
Okay.
So I went up to the FBI headquarters here in Houston and went in there. And when you go to the FBI, they assign you a duty agent, and you don't get their name. They don't give you their name.
Okay.
And they give you a little booth to go into, and you go into this little booth, and there's like bulletproof glass between you and the FBI agent or whatever it is.
Gosh.
And you talk to the FBI agent about whatever you want to talk to him about. So I went in there to talk to him about the UFO thing. So I made a report to the FBI, and I've actually made 3 reports to the FBI up here in Houston.
You like how they handle things?
They know all about it. The FBI knows all about the UFO, UAP issue. They just don't want to talk to the public about it.
Right. It's good they know. You would assume they know, I guess.
And they're concerned too, just like everybody else. Just like the Senate's concerned, and everybody's concerned. The FBI's concerned too about it. They just don't want to talk about it.
What do you think will happen now, sort of in the government, disclosure-wise? Is there going to be any more to come out, or?
Well, that's a big question because there's a lot of people trying to make things come out. I'm one of them. If it's the last thing I do on earth, I'm one of them. But the thing is there's resistance. And, the resistance looks like it's coming from the Central Intelligence Agency.
Okay.
And if the CIA decides, we don't want people to know, then there's a chance that the Central Intelligence Agency may put the clamps down on everything and everybody and just not allow it to get out.
Gee.
Where it would, things would change.
How do you feel about that overall? You think that's...
Personally, I think that people have a right to know, myself, the truth, whatever that truth may be, for good or bad. They have a right to know, because we could be getting a lot of our technology from aliens and stuff.
Yeah,
because when you think
helpful
about it,
technology.
Think about it, and look where we've come in the last 100 years. We've come from like horse and buggy to landing on the moon.
Correct.
In 100 years. And we've got computers, we've got lasers, we've got cell phones, we've got all this high technology stuff, and there's a possibility somehow we're getting technology from aliens, whether we're reversing their technology or they might be even working with us.
Seems pretty likely. Seems pretty likely, I think. I think. I think it's quite possible.
Well, that's why you got to ask questions and you got to investigate and
Yeah.
just follow the money. A lot of it may have to do with money too, big time money.
And
But,
in the
if you got some
private sector,
alien technology, you could make who knows how much money.
oh, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what's holding on to it. Really, I think follow the money makes a lot of sense. Actually, kid, I think that is what's happened. Well, that, and I guess there is sort of an overarching military clampdown. Would you say?
I'm hoping not.
Okay.
But you never know what's going to happen, and you never know about what this whole power, because this is about power.
Yes.
And this is about control.
Correct.
And there's a lot of players. There's a lot of players in the control game, and there's a lot of players in the power game. And so, you're not sure who's going to pop up or pop out, or you got to keep your eyes wide open and hope for the best and keep pushing forward. That's about all I know.
So, kid,
Yeah.
you guys got an election coming up.
Yes.
What do you? What would you hope for? Who would you hope for?
Well, I'm not very happy with either one of them,
No.
to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
So I guess it's the lesser of two evils, but I don't know. Everything's pretty messed up right now, so
Yeah.
who knows what's going to happen as far as the politics goes.
Yeah. I get a lot of alerts that Trump's this and that, and he's going to do well or he's not. But we'll see how it goes.
Well, it's hard to say what's going to happen because pretty much we're in record-breaking territory right now.
That is true. How so? How do you describe it like that?
Well, I don't think we've ever had a president running for president with 91 indictments against him.
Yeah. Do you know what else?
What happens if he gets reelected? What are they going to do about the 91 indictments? Are they just going to throw him out, or are they going to arrest the president, throw him in jail, or pretty crazy?
Mm-hmm. Well, presumably, I guess if he did get in, he could just rearrange it and get himself off, pardon himself.
Yeah, I mean, we're going into uncharted territory here as far as politics are going on, and a lot of other things are going on.
Mm-hmm. What do you know? Do you know Dr. Shipe? Siepe? Robert Shipe?
No, I sure don't.
Mm-hmm.
I mainly people in the UFO world that I mainly have tried to connect with are the people with the UFO Nuke press conference that was held in Washington, D.C. at the Press Club in 2010, because those are all ex-military people that were in missile silos in the military, missile bases and stuff like that had UFO incursions at them, and down to the years in the 60s and 70s and 80s, and those are the people that I'm pretty much in contact with, that I work with and stuff like that. So I've heard of a lot of UFO people. There's a lot of people who've written books. There's just thousands and thousands of books that have been written about UFOs and all that kind of stuff. So I really don't know a lot of people because I've kind of focused my area more in the military intelligence area rather than the abduction area or the propulsion, alien propulsion area, free energy area, whatever you want to call it.
Right. Have you got any conferences that you are thinking to be attending coming up?
No, my investigation's pretty much over.
Is that right?
When I started my investigation back in 2008, it was to try to find out what happened up there at the Utah Launch Complex, where I had the UFO sighting with my girlfriend in October 1973. And so once I talked to all the different people and found out what was going on, that there was a conflict between these aliens and the military over nuclear weapons and the use of nuclear weapons. And I talked to the people at different, bases that had incursions, and the nuclear missiles were turned off, and different things happened. And that pretty much told me what I needed to know about it. And so I just, most people don't like me to be at their or come to their UFO conferences because I'm kind of I don't know what you'd say. I could cause a lot of issues to come up and a lot of questions to be asked. And a lot of these people, these UFO things, are just basically people that, have written books. They've interviewed some UFO people, that were supposedly abducted, and they've been abducted. Certain UFO events happened, and they've written books about it, but a lot of them don't have any first-hand experience. They're going on what so-and-so told them happened to them.
Okay.
And so, I don't fit into the normal UFO person that comes to a conference and speaks at the conference, because I'm kind of, I guess you consider me a radical in the fact that I'm considering that we've been having alien conflict with aliens since the 1940s, and we've been trying to reverse their technology and all this. And so, they really don't want that to get out into the public, I don't think. And so they try to keep everything under control at a lot of these conferences, and they don't let people speak. I got shouted down in Roswell a few years ago by Colonel John Alexander when I brought up the issue of what happened in Roswell in 1963, the winter of 63, when John F. Kennedy was assassinated. They had those 6 to 10 UFO incursions at the military base at Roswell, and they were trying to talk about the supposed crash in 47, which, they claimed was a balloon, but then some people say it was an alien ship. And I was trying to say, well, there's been a lot more going on than that since the 40s. We've had conflict with aliens and ships, incursions into our military bases in the 40s and 50s and 60s. Anyway, when I started bringing all that up, I got shouted down because he's the big government contractor guy that set Bigelow Aerospace up with the UFO reporting system from the airlines and the air traffic controllers and pilots that he had taken away from MUFON. But he didn't want me to speak, and so these conferences are all kind of controlled, and they don't want any guy to jump up there and say, hey, we've been fighting aliens for years, and this government cover up, and that's kind of not in the program.
You're tenacious, bit of a rabble rouser maybe to them.
They want to hear the old stories, about what happened in Roswell and what happened with, different people and different things. And, there've been 1,000 books written about it, but I'm not a book writer. I'm an investigator, so it's different.
Okay, what else?
By the way, I never got your T-shirt yet.
You haven't got it? It said that it would come on Wednesday.
Oh, this Wednesday?
Yes, tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll be looking for it tomorrow then.
Good. Text me when you get it, please.
Okay, to make sure I got it?
Yes, please. I'll check the tracking number again after we finish up here. Here's a little bit of a silly question, but what have you got a favorite alien UFO movie?
Well, see, everybody thinks that if the aliens attacked, it would be like World of Worlds. They just come down and start blowing up everything.
Mm-hmm.
and everything. And that's not necessarily how an alien would work. An alien might be like a few spacecrafts instead of a lot of spacecrafts, and they could be controlling things without people even really knowing it.
Exactly.
So behind the scenes type thing. So I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the War of the Worlds. I would be more of a the TV show with the guy
X-Files.
No. The guy's trying to convince the people that the aliens are here and they're not friendly, and they're abducting people, and different things are going on behind the scenes, and all that. I forget the name of the show.
Now I want to see it.
It's an old show.
It's still available on YouTube, likely.
Yeah. It's I forget the name. The Invaders.
Oh, The Invaders. Okay.
Yeah, the TV show The Invaders.
Cool. I'm ready it down.
I would say I'm close. If there was a TV show or a movie about the aliens, I would say that would probably be a closer thing to it, because it's not that they're coming down here and they just attacked us. They're interacting with us. They're apparently abducting people, and no one really knows what's going on. And people are trying to warn people about it, but no one's paying attention, and the government's kind of covering it up. And so that would probably be the closest thing I would say to
that. Could be kind of a likely scenario.
A more likely scenario than just like War of the Worlds or something like that.
Yeah, I think we're already in the midst of it. We just sort of don't know how far in or deep it all is, I think.
Right. We don't know all the ins and outs of everything that's happened since 1940. They showed up whenever we started setting off all these nuclear weapons and all the nuclear testing and everything back in the 40s. It's like they were here, but they didn't care. And then all of a sudden, when we started setting off all the nuclear weapons and everything, it's all of a sudden they start caring. And because probably if they live here too, whether it's interdimensional on the bottom of the ocean or wherever,
right?
They've got interest in the survival of the planet.
Yeah.
And when they start seeing humans setting off nuclear weapons and it could destroy their world, not only our world, but their world, and now they consider humans a problem, an issue that has to be dealt with.
Heck yeah.
And so that, that's when it all started, the big interaction between the military and the flying saucers was over the nuclear weapon issue. So, and I can understand that. I mean, they could coexist with us down to thousands of years. But if the humans became a threat, which we've become, then they might have to do something to stop us. I don't know.
Yeah. I heard a saying that we're not the only human sorts out there, but we're not the best of the human style, and actually our commitment to putting kids in school was part of why we haven't evolved properly.
Well, anyway, so that's where they all started showing up at. They started showing up at the nuclear missile bases and nuclear reactors and nuclear storage facilities. And I had, when the war in Afghanistan was going on, I had Blackwater security people calling me from Afghanistan wanting to know about triangular UFOs over their weapons storage areas over in Afghanistan during the war. And I said, well, they're real. The UFOs are real. And I said, I couldn't tell you if this was a reverse engineered drone flying saucer or if it was an alien flying saucer. Because, I wasn't there, and I was just relying on what information Blackwater Security was giving to me as they regarding the weapons storage area. But apparently it had some kind of tactical nuclear weapons in the weapons storage area over there. That's probably why it was there. It was monitoring the nuclear weapons over there in that facility over there.
Sure.
And, but, they couldn't get any answers out of the military. They called up their commanding officers and they said, we don't have anything like that. We don't know what's going on, So they ended up getting hold of me on LinkedIn as a UFO investigator and asked some questions. And I told them what I knew about it and everything. And of course, nothing gets solved in this business. You ask a question and it just brings up more questions is what it ends up doing, And you don't get any definitive answers on a lot of stuff. And it just causes, think more and more about what's going on behind the scenes and how long it's been going on and who's involved and everything else, So
it's sort of a rabbit hole, and it's maybe frustrating, kind of.
Oh, it's very frustrating. I found out what happened at my base that I was passing by. It was having UFO incursions during the war in the Middle East when we had activated our nuclear weapons to DEFCON 3. And so I found out, what was going on there and at Roswell, at that military base, Maelstrom, and all the bases. It was the same thing, UFO incursions. And we couldn't stop them from incursioning into our airspace. And we chase them and they'd get away. And,
they're speedy.
It's all a big secret. It's all a big secret.
Yes. Wow. Okay, kid. This is it. I just want to say thank you for talking to Canada. And
well, I know Canada has some people interested up there in it.
Heck yeah.
And I think they're a little bit more open about it in Canada than they are down here in the States. The government's made it a big joke down here. I don't know if it's a joke up there or not. But
well, I think they try to keep it quiet too. I think we follow America's lead, likely. But
well, that's what the guy from Luxembourg said when I was on his radio show. He said, we're just another state.
Yeah.
And they're a country of Luxembourg, and he said, we're just another state of the United States over here in Europe, So.
I think a lot of us feel that way. Oh, that's kind of intense. Okay, well, it won't be the last of me, and thanks for the talk, kid.
Okay.
And make sure that you text me when that dang T-shirt comes, and I'm gonna go check the tracking number now. Okay.
Okay, will do.
Okay. Bye, kid.